Hello creatives, welcome to the Moon series. If you're new to my channel, my name is Beth. I use the archetype cards, my cards of truth, cartomancy cards, the Lenormand cards, and ending with a starseed card to ask the powers that be, what are we ready to receive following this new moon? You'll find links below to get your own free personal cardology chart. Then you'll see what cards you have in the placements of your emotional tendency, your moon, your destiny life path, ecliptic, and where you are being invited to explore for answers, Rahu. And of course, what card your birth time places these planets in your chart as well. Lots to pull the string on. So let's get started with the transits for the new moon in Aries and a solar eclipse. It's Aries season. Aries is ruled by Mars, which is in Pisces at the moment with Saturn. This is a good thing. Saturn will bring patience, focus, and long-lasting change. Mars will energize you to act on your own behalf. Mercury turned retrograde April 1st, so be sure to double and triple check everything that's important dealing with communications. Check things twice and choose your words carefully. Venus is in Aries as well. This also is a good thing. It'll add a newfound confidence and want for happiness. It's got potential for new people, places, and things around your relationships or reconnecting with an established one. So a solar eclipse on the same day brings change and new beginnings to whatever Aries and Mars are doing in your birth chart, or opposite Aries in Libra. What house are they in? What's the subject of which something will be revealed to you? A solar eclipse is the catalyst for something that has been hidden to emerge, ready for a new beginning. This is a massive energy for some really positive change. Let's look at the cards. The 8th of April is a King of Diamonds day. Kings are ruled by Pluto, so it brings reinvention, transformation to how you value yourself and how you take care of what's important to you. This change is positive, however, it will either come in as a total surprise out of left field or a bolt of clarity. This change is about letting go of limiting beliefs about yourself. Let's look at a sample King of Diamonds chart to show where you can look in your own chart for guidance and direction from the cards. First, we'll look at Mars because it rules Aries. The card that is in your chart's Mars position is how you'll take action with the change that's coming. Now look to your Sun card. This is how you'll deal with what feelings come up with the eclipse. And because it's a King day, look at the card in your Pluto position. This is what will most likely bring an obstacle that you'll need to deal with. Look to your ecliptic path for overall best direction for you and your Rahu card for strategies. Then consider where your birth planets land in your card chart and consider those planets working with or against the birth chart's natural cards. The motto for this new moon in Aries and solar eclipse is by Stephen Hawking. Intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. And Bob Dylan, act the way you'd like to be, and soon you'll be the way you'd like to act. Okay, let's get started. Okay, Aries moon. What is Aries moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Aries moon best utilize the energies of Aries and the transiting planets? Strength of character, confidence, ambition, courage, determination, and find an ease of shifting into a truer transformation of self to raise your vibrational aura. Aries moon, this is your new moon. You're Mars led, so you'll be using action with this new moon to show up in even bigger ways of taking care of yourself. You'll feel the need to reevaluate if you're getting as much as you are giving. So, this also includes reassessing how you are giving too much or how you might be reluctant to ask for your needs to be met. That's asking yourself and in or within your relationship. Now, there's plenty of time to find the right way, the right living path to do this so you can be kind to yourself and others through this change. All right, let's take a look at your archetype card. The Lover. What a lovely way to begin this reading. I love this. This is just perfect for the stars aligning for you to be a better you, to yourself, to others, and to the world. This is what you'll bring over the next 2 weeks. The light attributes: great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation for someone or something. The shadow attributes are obsessive passion that harms others, self-destruction, and devotion. Self-destructive devotion. Wow. Yeah, kind of that shadow attributes would bring in something of a narcissistic quality or a stalker kind of quality. Just so desperate for the love of someone, you can't let it go. So we're going to stay out of that vibe, and we're going to look to see how we can take this middle path to find that passion for yourself and for others, and the devotion for self. Because you got to take care of yourself. It's the only way that you can be ready to take care of somebody else or to invite somebody else into a relationship, because it's all possible right now. It's opened up to new love. It's opened up to rekindling a love that you already have, finding new ways to that passion and devotion. Okay, so appreciation for someone or something, and that includes you. All right, let's take a look at the Cardamancy. It's in the reverse, but these readings, I just kind of cover everything, so I don't really see it as the reversed meaning, but we will look at that because, as I said, it's going to be a give and take, finding that balance within to be able to move into a greater appreciation for you and for other people. All right, so it's the 10 of Hearts. This is a great card to get here because it is rewards for effort. Number 1, look to your ecliptic. Number 2, because that is where you're going to want to put this kind of effort. It is fabulous because you have this popularity card here. This is also the red hearts. The red cards, diamonds and hearts, have the same major arcana card. It's the Wheel of Fortune, and this is it coming around for you. It's also got all of the abilities to get the job done as the rest of the suit. Marvelous. It's like you've got every tool in your toolbox. You've got the want to get this done. You've got the encouragement around the popularity card. It looks like it is all green lights to go, go, go. So where would you be putting all of this energy? Into what? What kind of appreciation for someone or something is it that you need to think about? How you would give that gift to someone or yourself, maybe at the same time. You could just invite your love for a walk on the beach, or you could just go and enjoy that beach all by yourself, possibly running into someone if it is in the cards for you to do so. If it is, no matter what, whether you're with someone or whether you're looking for someone, you are going to have that glow about you. I mean, Venus is here. We've got Mars. We've got Saturn. I mean, it is set up for success. So you really should embody the confidence that is you. Find the good things about you and play on those. Do what you need to do to bolster your confidence and how you want to show up in the world, because you've got it going on. There's no holding you back on this one. This is awesome. Any downsides of this that might catch you up is definitely in that narcissistic naysaying, either the victim or you're either right or the victim. So you want to stay out of anything that feels like you are planting your feet, right? It is something about, as I said in the beginning, this is about how you give to others and yourself. So it would be about taking. How do you take? With gratitude, with thank yous, with appreciation, all of the good stuff that comes with something that you want and that is being offered. Yeah. Because anything that is deceptive or covert is not going to brighten that aura, that vibration of you. That's going to dampen it, obviously. So, what we're going to do here is think of a very clean, positive, straightforward way to present you as you, the best way possible. As Bob Dylan said, the way you want to be. Show up like that. That's you. That's definitely you. Being you in all your beautifulness. Let's look at the Lenormand. Oh, and you've got luck on your side. How sweet is this? I love that you get the clovers, because this is just happiness. This is overcoming anything that's in your path. This is you being fortunate, and it has the great potential to make a great life. How lovely is that? Seems like you've got the key to whatever it is that you are looking for, that passion and that devotion for yourself and for others, and to receive it. Have it, someone giving that to you, you giving it in return. Clean and simple. Yeah, this is really nice. I really like this. So, congratulations. This is beautiful. Let's see what you get for the starseed. Inner worlds. Your external world is a reflection of your inner world. So you know what? Just take a couple of days for you. Get your head in the right place to begin this new beginning. It's big. You've got the solar eclipse. You can ask for whatever you want. You'll get what you need. It's going to be absolutely perfect for you. Clearly, you've earned it. Keep doing the good work. Keep raising that vibration. Put that glow on. You've got this. I love it. All right. Well, thank you for watching. And as always, the best of luck. What is Taurus Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks. And how can Taurus Moon best utilize the energies of Aries and the transiting planets? Strength of character, confidence, ambition, courage, determination, and find an ease of shifting into a truer transformation of self to raise your vibrational aura. Taurus Moon, you are Venus-led, so with this new moon, seek solitude to check in with how accountable you've been for maintaining how comfortable you are with the current relationships. You'll feel the need to de-stress and then address any issues, starting with yourself. There's plenty of time to consider how to communicate what you want and need in your relationships. Be sure to make the same considerations for yourself as you do for others. Goes both ways. So let's see what you got for the archetype card. Scribe. All right. The light attributes, preserving knowledge and information. The shadow attributes, altering facts or plagiarizing others' work. So you just want to be very clear all of the pros and cons of the relationship issues. So the comfortability and being accountable for your own comfort within the relationship. How much do you fall victim to doing something that you don't really want to do, or voicing that you just need something different than being what's offered? There's so many different ways that you can do this, considering who the relationship partner is, what the situation is. And as always, everyone has this agenda or these needs that they want met and motivation, right? So look to what those are for the other person or within yourself when you are looking for something. And to be completely and just truly honest with yourself, preserving that truth. What comes to mind is that writing a note to yourself is what's coming through. Every time you spot something that you want to work on, say, for instance, this is totally coming from me, but say, for instance, you're not a party person. You'd rather stay home and be ensconced on the couch doing your own thing, but your partner likes to go out. How do you negotiate how often and when and where? And how open are they to listening to that and honoring that for you as you would honor that for them? Finding good things about it, making your lists about it, so that the next time that it comes up for you, you can refer to it and be reminded when you are possibly in a place where your needs for the couch and alone time are surpassing what your partner needs. It happens. It's okay. However, to refer to the list before getting into the conversation, it puts you in a mindset that is being considerate of the other person and where they're coming from. This way, they feel heard as well because you've got it, right? You've written it down. You understand their motivations, their needs. Yeah. All right. Let's see what you get for the Spirit and Nature Cardamomcy card. You've got the Six of Hearts. Oh, you're going to do well. Love this. This is just having that solid, grounded natural behavior. That is the emotional substance of this card. It being a 6, number 1, top of the game, doing it right, doing it fabulous, being exactly where you need to be at the right time. This is success, and it's truth seeking. So if there's something about the motivation, the agendas, the need for this, that, and another thing, question, look for the truth, feel that truth, because it'll be right there for you. Heart suit, emotional well-being. 6, top of the game, you are in the right place at the right time. You've got a pretty good meter as to the balancing of what anybody needs. You should be trusting that. It is a loving understanding. This is could be about yourself if you're not in a relationship, or it could be your workplace. I mean, whatever it is, you want to look the same. What the motivation is and what the agenda is before you really give yourself to the situation so that you can show up with the other person in mind as well. The thing about the 6 of Hearts, if it has a downside, it is that in that Devil card is the major arcana. So this is you really figuring out you before you bring a situation to be discussed and any kind of communications to the table. Now, because of Mercury being retrograde, do take your time, do make the list, do be sure, be very, very sure, and then give it a few more bit of time before you broach the subject, because it can be coming through because of the 6 of Hearts. It can be judgmental, or maybe there's some jealousy. Maybe there's some feeling of being unappreciated. When those things happen, there's a great deal of possibility for self-sabotage, right? So don't do that. Come to this with clear knowing, and be open and ready for those views, those ideas to open up, to bring more information, new ways of thinking about it, new things to add. It's just spice for life. It's good. Let's see what we get for the Lenormand. We got a ring. This is commitment to self, commitment to the partner, commitment to whatever it is that is going on for you at this time. If you are looking for a partner, do you first. Take that Devil Major Arcana card to heart and understand yourself as well as you can possibly manage at this time. The more you write the lists, the more you refer back to them, the more you articulate the truth of you. You can just see how that would brighten your aura. You being so aware of yourself emotionally, so grounded in it. The confidence is just incredibly attractive. Just make sure you're thinking about that, and what you want to attract, and then be that. Right? Let's see what we get for the starseed. Blue flame. Connect to the blue flame, which is the light of pure love within you, for you. When you show up as confident and in the right place to receive, real stuff. No bullshit. Real stuff. Yep. The world is your oyster, for sure. All right. Thank you, and best of luck. Okay, Gemini Moon. What is Gemini Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Gemini Moon best utilize the energies of Aries and the transiting planets? Strength of character, confidence, ambition, courage, determination, and find an ease of shifting into a truer transformation of self to raise your vibrational aura. Gemini Moon, you are Mercury led. So with this new moon, you'll be feeling the need to evaluate and prioritize your friendships. You're going to realize how honest and or authentic the people you associate with are by reassessing your own depths. This is time to decide on your own behavior and see how it fits with the company you keep. Make your changes as they present themselves with consideration to doing so with loving kindness for yourself and others. There's plenty of time with this moon. So take a few days just to think about your friends, their positives, their negatives, their agendas, why you're friends with them, what the underlying motivation is, and how honest and authentic the people are, right? That you associate with, because it really does reflect on who you are, how you find your values. All right, let's begin with the archetype. We've got the Midas Miser, the light attributes, entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything to gold or value, delight in sharing life's riches, whether they're valuable monetarily or not. Everything has value. Shadow attributes, hoarding money and hoarding emotions, obsessive fear of losing your wealth or losing your value. I love this card for that because it really puts the work, the outcome, the whatever in your hands. This is you working your magic, doing your thing, being and doing things creatively. There's a lot of creative impetus with this card because you've got an ability just to wrap your mind around what's of value and what isn't, puts an energy on it. And it's all in relation to really what you want, where you're going, how you're getting there. All right. We do want to do this in the best light possible. So for you, because of where Gemini is in the transits at this time, there is this need for you to prioritize and really put that evaluation of the people you're around in perspective. Okay? All right. It's okay because it's telling you as much about yourself as it is about them. Let's look at we got the Daimon and Fate card. Let's find out. It's in the Fate position, so let's see what's going to be crossing your path to give you a glimpse of you. when you deal with it. Reflection. I know, I like to just feel with my fingers and pick the card that speaks to me. So let's see. Oh, yep. Right here. Can you believe that? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't think I've ever had that happen before. I love it. All right, let's pay attention. Oh my goodness. All right, one more time. There's only 2 in the deck. Oh. All right, this guy. The 8 of Hearts. Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. So the 8s are the Rahu card. Hearts are the emotion. So this tells me that the powers that be want you to realize that ultimately this is about you taking a giant step forward, in that there's going to be complete honesty about yourself. I mean, you don't need to share this with anyone. This can be totally you assessing. It's not like you've got to broadcast it, because ultimately, whatever comes to you about your friends, whatever you're valuing or whatever you're not valuing, how you're really doing the honest check-in here, the authenticity of your friends, and how that reflects on you and how you feel about you. So, there's just so much trying to get through. The top of it is that 8s are all about self-validation. So this is about building your confidence, your strength, your passion, your doing itness, if that makes sense. Oh, there must be so many messages out there for the Geminis, because there's just a flood of want of coming through here as evaluating yourself first. This might take some time, and that's okay. We've got time. You've got plenty of time. So, I mean, you could take the next 2 weeks just figuring out you and your evaluation, your authenticity, your work with your own depths of emotional love. Strong message here about taking care of yourself through this. To take some sort of a cleanse, like a no sugar day, I'm getting. To begin of taking care of yourself better, so that you do build your confidence, your sustainability within you. The 8 of Hearts in the major arcana is the Hanged Man. So there's a real need to be looking at things differently. So you're going to be coming across a lot 2 fate cards here. So for a time, you're being asked to simply observe, just look, just watch, just make note of what's happening around you. Because all of this realization of honesty levels and authenticity levels and what's for show, what's for somebody's agenda or behaviors that are because they want something. And this could be you. The idea here is to internally begin with that assessment of yourself from the reflection of your friends, because that's what the 8 is as well. The battle with the 8s is just that, looking to others to have that bounce back to you, what they feel about you, to give you a sense of who you are. That's all well and good to elicit the response that does it for you. However, you got to learn how to do that for yourself. That's where the true power is. When you show up like that, you just are. That balanced self. It is a self-validation at its core. So what you're going to be bumping into is going to give you a really good mirror for that. This whole 8 of Hearts is about mirroring. So look to that for yourself. You could even sit with a mirror, pull a card, and really ask yourself what that card means for you. It could be tarot, it could be anything, any kind of card, Lenormand card, whatever you want. And think about it. Really do a little meditation. Sit down with a cup of tea and think about it. You know, a cup of tea can last 5-10 minutes more, and that's plenty of time to stick it to it, to understand it. Make yourself some love notes, mental or otherwise, and begin there. And just because for the fun of it, the 8s get activated around the age of 42. That's when you come into your Rahu. So look to your Rahu spot and see how you might take this to explore. Find your strategies there, because this can be really warm and friendly and have friends and marriage and warm relations, mutual feelings. There's a sincerity around this card when you find you. That's the whole reason for this. And to begin that step there, just owning you. Very, very nice. All right, let's see what you get for the Lenormand. The Moon card. So this is definitely about paying attention to your intuition. There's perception around all of this fateful encounters that's really going to give you a glimpse of who you are at your core. There's an emotional exchange with this card of waxing and waning with the moon. So as this new moon grows, the more you are to just think about you, finding that sincere balance within, of loving yourself. And don't forget about looking at things from a different point of view. That Hanged Man card is a diamond of a card. It is beautiful in that it gives you the opportunity to see things differently. It'll bring some new information, and there you'll have it. Give it some thought. Have that cup of tea. All right? All right. Ooh, I love this. Let's see what you get for the Starseed. observation, of course. Expand your consciousness by observing the divine matrix of life. And if you do look at all of this as a puzzle, one of those labyrinths where you've got to get somewhere from here, and to just think of it as this matrix of the labyrinth of getting there from here. You're kind of blind when you're down in the middle of it. If you think of the big hedges and trying to find your way out, right? There's so much trust that has to come with that, and groundedness, and tamping down the fear of it. That just came through for someone. It's just you becoming more you, little to a time in the right measure. All right, I'm going to leave it right there. So just consider doing this with a loving kindness for yourself and others that you are bumping energies with. Okay? All right. Thank you. And best of luck. Okay, Cancer Moon. What is Cancer Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Cancer Moon best utilize the energies of Aries and the transiting planets, strength of character, confidence, ambition, courage, determination, and find an ease of shifting into a truer transformation of self to raise your vibrational aura? Okay, Cancer Moon, you are moon-led, so you'll be feeling the need to update how you advocate respect for yourself. It's interesting, isn't it? Issues will come to light, and you'll feel more self-validation that will nourish a newfound confidence. How sweet is that? There's time to plan clear and concise sentences with kindness to your voice, your newfound needs and wants. So take your time and wait for the right moment. So we're talking about how you advocate, how much respect you really demand and expect for yourself. Interesting. So with this comes a light. Some issues are going to come to light that are going to show you how to advocate for yourself with reference to respect. And this way you'll feel more self-validation because you're asking for it in the right way, kind of calling it when you see it. So this is about nourishing that newfound confidence and how you're going to be asking for it. And of course, with kindness. And as I said, you do have time. So you're going to be waiting for the right moment and calling it when you see it. So you're going to want to prepare for that. Let's see what you get for the archetype cards. The Monk, Nun. Light attributes: selfless devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit. Shadow attributes: negative judgment of the physical world, excess piety. That shadow attribute is a holier than thou. Oh, I do know some people like that. Just think that they are God's gift to society. And they're not. They're actually quite narcissistic in that. So feeling that greater than is so opposite of what being dedicated to spirit really is. Finding that love and light within, loving the spirit of you, and having that be a devotion of treating everyone the way that you would like to be treated, in respect to the respect that you're looking for. You're ready for it. You're ready to be seen in a different light. You're ready to be guided more intuitively. And really trust that your spirit guides have your back and are leading you, directing you, issuing you, giving you whatever it is that you need to trust that intuitiveness even more. This selfless devotion and single-minded dedication. The selfless part is the tough part, I think, to let go and let God. Because it's not always something that you can grasp. There's so much trust that has to go into that. It's only in hindsight you see where and how much you were able to do that. So having these things come to light, issues around how people are respecting you. Not that they have to bow every time you come into the room. It's not that kind of respect, but are they thinking of you as much as you are thinking of them? And if not, how can you bring that to light? Well, it's in the moments, isn't it? You got to call it when you see it. So you're going to be, it's coming through that you're going to want to take a couple of minutes in the morning and get in the right mindset. Think to yourself, okay, at any time today, I could come into contact with someone that is going to challenge, that's the word, challenge how secure I am with the respect that I'm receiving. Okay, for someone out there, you get overtalked. Somebody's always interrupting. And how do you deal with that? Oh, and some of you have a naysayer. You've got someone that just likes to complain. And because you listen, they like to talk to you. It's going to be that kind of a thing. So how do you say, excuse me, I got to make a phone call, or excuse me, I'm really need to be moving on to something else. It could be a very delicate situation, because who is this person that is asking this of you? And how much do you have invested in complying with this behavior? That they could just be completely oblivious as to how they're treating you, because you're not asking for anything different. That is where it's at, isn't it? Wow. All right. Didn't think all that was going to come through with this card. Let's move on. Okay. So the Seven of Hearts. It did want to be in the reverse position, and we will look at that because there's something to it when they show up reversed. But this is the Seven of Hearts. These sevens are an interesting number to be. This is where you are ready to move into the change that needs to happen, that you want to have happen. It's here. It's ready. It's a butterfly moment for you to step through one broken heart and move on to another fresh situation to work through. So what you leave behind, because that's the sevens, it is something that has made you feel victimized. It has put you in a compromising situation where you feel like you're being taken advantage of, or you're allowing people to take advantage of. That bit is what's going to be released. So you're going to want to look deeper into why. So we're talking about emotions. We're talking about the gateway to reinvention. It's something that you're going to want to embrace and think of this as more of passages, like life cycles. The key is having a certain gracefulness in letting it go. This is something that wants to be recognized, thanked, and as you're moving on, you can mourn this because it's like accepting that that change needs to happen, understanding why it needs to happen, seeing a path forward to getting it to become different, morphing, transforming, becoming more of a warrior for yourself in the absolute best way possible. Yeah. So it could show up in different ways, but it could show up as the victimization, whether you feeling that or actually people asking you to be a victim of being something that you don't want to be for whatever reason that you feel that you need to. That situation can change. Or a perpetrator is somebody overpowering emotionally, physically, just energy-wise. Or the protector. It's an interesting one, but it does come through with this idea of spirit because the protector jumps in and self-sabotages, protecting you from any embarrassment or any kind of something where it changes, it rocks the boat, it upsets the cart, and they want that. Protector wants to protect you from any of that happening. So that's a conversation that needs to be had with yourself to understand that you're not going to jump in and rush into anything. You do have time. You want to prepare. Okay? I think that's it. I think that was everything that needed to be said. Okay, so one more thing to bring in the major arcana card. It's the death card in the major arcana, which is all about realizing little, big, medium, whatever, there's a piece that needs to be sacrificed, let go of, so that you can move into a cleaner, more balanced self. Got to recognize it, you got to call it, you got to accept it. And that, in that, brings you to that point of accepting and understanding of the way you used to be, right? Used to be. Because this is about finding the peace with that. Seeing it as a cycle. and finding a way to self-love your core and let spirit guide you. Okay. And the anchor. Yeah, you just want to be able to anchor into it. It might be a couple of weeks of alone time as much as possible, just to sink into this like an anchor. Put down your roots. Feel your groundedness in your energy. Get to that spot. Do it in the morning with your coffee, your tea, whatever it is, when you can take a moment before you get out of bed, while you're in the shower, while you're on your way to wherever it is you're going. Take a moment. I call those moments the bed, the bath, the bus, because it gives you that just the right amount of time to into self and be ready to advocate for you in the best way possible. All right, let's see what you get. Gaia. Connect to the pulse of Mother Earth. She will guide you through this time of change. Oh, Mother Earth. Yeah. If you are in a position of being able to put your feet on the ground, even just for a moment, it is a lovely way to just say thank you. Thank you for being here at this time, doing this thing to raise your aura, your vibration, and just bring that beautiful loveliness to the world. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And as always, best of luck. Okay, Leo Moon. Let's ask, what is Leo Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Leo Moon best utilize the energies of Aries and the transiting planets, strength of character, confidence, ambition, courage, determination, and find an ease of shifting into a truer transformation of self to raise your vibrational aura? All right, Leo. Leo Moon, you are sun-led. So it's a bold new beginning about finding a deeper meaning in your relationships. You'll feel the need to seek a new, found, deeper presence in the world. That includes self-validation while you expand your spiritual thinking. That's the biggie here. You'll have plenty of time to sort through where to begin this journey. So do take your time as things come to you. With this big eclipse, this solar eclipse being sun-led, this is going to really bring that boldness for you to find meaning in your relationships, deeper meaning. And what that's going to do, it's going to promote the need for you to feel wanting to bring that deeper transformation of you, that vibrational aura is really what we're talking about here. Your presence, how you show up. This is very Leo. And how that validates you. You validating you. I know that that can be through the eyes of others, bouncing back to you to seek the change that you want to be in the world and to have that reflected back to you. However, we're talking about the beginning of finding a deeper meaning. This is all about the spirituality of that journey. Okay. All right. Let's see what you get for the archetype cards. Damsel. All right. So damsel. This is about the feminine within, whether you're male, female, however you identify. This is the femininity, the softness, the grace, the loving kindness, the gentle way of being, lightness of being. So, a receiving rather than a giving. The light attributes, understanding the nature of healthy romance, inspires you to rely on yourself. So that is kind of what we're looking for here, that deeper meaning within relationships, healthy romance. And what's the nature of healthy romance? What does that look like to you? The give and take, the feminine, the masculine of the whole thing. It's such a balance, isn't it? So the shadow attributes, waiting for a knight to provide for you. Seduction by romantic illusion. You know, that kind of is love language, isn't it? Do you do for other people to show your love? Or do you expect that? Having someone do something for you as a show of love. Nothing wrong with that, as long as it's appreciated. Have gratitude for it. And to be really super aware of how that plays out. What popped into my head, what needs to be said, is how many games are being played around how you get what you want, how you get what you need. Because the feminine and masculine way of moving within a relationship, no matter with who, doesn't really matter here. Because what we're looking at is how you are doing you. What Spirit wants you to understand is that this is about you allowing space for your spiritual guides to bring, to flourish, to grow, to nourish you. They're asking you to allow that to happen, to look at it as if it's a bird in the hand. Could fly away any minute. We've seen the videos where you've got bird seed and the birds come and they eat the seed, they fly off, and it's just such a beautiful, weightless gesture. It's that kind of lightness that they're asking you to open to. There's a certain amount of letting go that needs to happen here for that to happen. So you're going to be looking at the transformation of this eclipse, where whatever is being brought to light is what is to be transformed. You're to see it, accept it, understand it, and invite it to morph, to grow, to become something that your spirit guides really want you to embody. Now, this is about you and how you bring that new embodiment to the world. You're Leo. This is big, big for you. Sun, led, solar eclipse right in the path of your moon. Intuitively, you are going to be so personally invested in doing this. It is about your self-validation, yes, and about expanding that, feeling it, growing it, nurturing it, feminine, but also the masculine aspects of it, to cultivate it, to drive it, to bring it to fruition for yourself. I can't even imagine what your aura is going to look like and feel like just to be in your presence when all of this is said and done. Wow. All right, let's see what you get for the Spirit in Nature Cardamomcy cards. You got the 9 of Spades. This is so interesting because here we're asking Spirit to just come in to give you that inspiration to be you on you, right? And the 9 of Spades is what we call the Yogi card. I know, I love it. It's the Hermit card in the Major Arcana. So definitely take the time you need. You may just be the whole 2 weeks here figuring out exactly what kind of karmic baggage needs to be let go of, unchained, released, buried even, I won't say buried. You want to sort it through. You want to sort it through and allow for this to, what's coming through is organically take care of itself. Have it return to Mother Earth through an energy exchange. Interesting. It's a bit of an uphill battle to recognize and understand what this baggage is. You can see from the card when I made this that some of it's small and easily accessible and has some light on it and you can understand it, you know it. It's like, okay, all right, fine, time to deal with it, done. Some of it's a little bigger, a little heavier, a little deeper. But what we're looking at here is what is chaining you to, I'm just going to say it here, fixed behavior with the Leo fixed fire energy. Spades are fire card. That's their element. Leo, fire. You can get really rooted, really invested is the word, in what has always been. Whether that is through saying, it can't be done, it is what it is, I'm stuck with it, it's always been this way. However, that's going to change. The solar eclipse is opening that Pandora's box. So take great care for yourself. This is all about how you want to show up to the world in a different way, expanding how your connection with spirituality brings that lightness, that energy of being able to eventually find the humor in it, right? All right. So, part of the Nine of Spades, because we are talking about letting something go, nines are very giving cards. So, this is going to speak directly to that big Leo moon emotional heart. It is just a really lovely giving, and seeing it that way. This is a gift to give yourself, it's a healing. It is really, really seeing your strengths and weaknesses. It's overcoming ego. And it's clearing those, what you thought were givens, what you thought was just the way it is. It's not. And you are here to clear that baggage for yourself. And get this, family DNA. DNA, strands of DNA, altering, clearing, releasing that energy. That's what you're doing here. So, yeah, the Hermit, the major arcana, you know, the little guy with the lantern walking the walk. Yeah, talking the talk, letting spirit guide you because you know, you understand there's a bigger path. It's a hill to climb, but you're ready. It's happening. So embrace it. Understand that it is that true gift of self to you. The Lenormand card, the coffin. You are definitely letting something go for good. You're done. You're just done. It's done. It has been looked at. Oh, funny. It just came in. It's been dug up and picked over, tossed back in, dug up. It's done. There's nothing left. It's fodder. It is in the compost. It is dust to dust. And you are being guided to begin a brand new beginning of you, the strength of you. And when you think about loss, it is a foundation. It is something that you release emotionally, that baggage for that clearing of the chakras to begin fresh, like a new seed to blossom. That's what's planted. Oh, thank you. From letting such go, it is released into something that is really beautiful, healthy. It's you taking care of you, seeing your beautiful light, understanding the depth of that meaning. Thank you. And showing up with that kind of presence, that solid aura. Nice. All right. And to allow that to really bring that intuitive knowing, trust to your everyday. Wow. All right. Well, like I said, you've got plenty of time to sort this through and where to pick up, where to plant those seeds. But for the time being, just be super generous with yourself. Take care. Understand that it is a healing process, so give yourself the time to do that. It's a big one for you. All right, let's see what you get for the star seed. Vision. Trust in your ability to create the vision in your soul. Yeah, it's a process. It definitely is. This is just the beginning of it. There is something over that horizon that is bringing all of this to light for you. Wow. All right. Well, best of luck with everything. And as always, thank you for being here. And I really want to wish you the best. Okay, Virgo Moon. What is Virgo Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Virgo Moon best utilize the energies of Aries and the transiting planets? Strength of character, confidence, ambition, courage, determination, and find an ease of shifting into a truer transformation of self to raise your vibrational aura. So, Virgo Moon, you are Mercury led. So, this new moon is about aligning with a deeper advocating for yourself within your relationships. Asking yourself, like, are things even? Are you getting what you need and want? You're going to feel the need to change your inner narrative to something that supports the change you seek. That's the beginning of how you basically reinvent yourself. There's time to polish and shape this new narrative, so you're going to want to make the most of it. Time. Mercury's in retrograde. You got plenty of time, and you should take it. Take it and polish it and rework it, revisit it. Every time that you have something that is not supporting you, visit to write that down and then look at it as to how you could change the narrative on it. How do you take a negative belief about yourself and say, you know what? All right, I'm going to own that I don't care about that, or I don't put any energy or effort into that thing. Well, what is that thing? Is it emotional? Is it physical? Is it your willpower, your effort? How much self-talk is around keeping you where you are? Is it fear, or is it just being worried, or is it shame or anger, lack of discipline, that kind of thing that is keeping you where you are? It's time for a change. Clearly, the spirits want you to understand that it's a natural thing for you. This is just the next step in your journey. All right, let's see what we get here for the archetype cards. Warrior. I love that you get the warrior card. This is great. Light attributes, strength, skill, discipline, toughness of will, heroism, stoicism, self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. Whew, that's a big one. So perfectly for you. Shadow attributes. Trading ethical principles. Trading ethical principles for victory at any cost. Indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. Yeah, wow, this is just such an Aries card. And here we are. Virgo moon. It's all about crossing the T's, dotting the I's, making sure all the ducks are in a row, emotionally being ready to do what you need to do for yourself. So this is about how you ask for what you want, how you negotiate through your relationships. We all do it. And what comes into play for you during that time? Do you have a strength around preparing for your approach? Have you polished the skills in order to do that? Your persuasion. Do you have a discipline of sticking to the subject? There is a certain toughness of will that has to come with being a hero, or that stoic, just nose to the grindstone about conquering the ego. You can try. Conquering the ego, I don't know about that. That doesn't really ring true, does it? Conquering it is not really the expression that I would use, but in some ways it is making your peace with it. It is being diplomatic. It is asking the ego to really mature into something that accounts for other people the way you account for yourself, or a way the ego would account for themselves. Because it really is about how you are advocating for yourself so that you can be that warrior rightly, right way, right path for other people. Because that's what you're going to bring. That's what's bringing to your aura, that you've got that for yourself. So this is about changing your inner narrative, because you're going to want to feel like you've got this. Being a Virgo moon, you are going to want to make your lists, you make your pros and cons, and not only for yourself, right? You want to begin with, the spirit self, the ego self. It's got to be that conversation between, and find that right balance. Otherwise, the trading of ethics, right? I know. It is allowing or having something undermine for what might appear as a betterment for you, but in reality, it's a take without giving. So we want to be looking at that in how you are going to show up for yourself. How are you going to be your own hero and allow the ego to feel good with Spirit's help? Okay. The Spirit in Nature, Cardomancy card. Why am I not surprised? 6 of Spades. This is the ultimate ego soul conversation. This is about you being at the top of your game. This is what's waiting for you. This is really pretty special. So let's see. Healthy perspective, peace within, time to contemplate what's going on your personal progress is spot on. There's a ordeal that comes with this, but it's conquering that ordeal. So whatever has you reluctant, which is what you want to be looking at, what's the underlying reluctance? What's the continuous loop of narrative? Not good enough, don't have the skills, don't have the right support, no money. There's just, I'm not pretty enough, not talented enough, I don't read well. It can get to the point where, because you've got a hangnail, you can't go do the do. So, thing is, this is all about the battle within you. So it's not something that you bring to anyone else. This is you sitting quietly with yourself and having that conversation, finding out what's best for your spirit led, because this is what the sixes do. They have this validation from an outside source. And when everybody around you is happy with you, life's good for them. But is it good for you, right? I mean, yeah, it's great to be on top of things. It's great to be knowing what you need at your core. So to advocate a new comeuppance came in. All right, comeuppance, meaning things are changed. There's a new version of you, more of a warrior, more skills, more. It's like you took a step in the maturity direction. This is very nice. I mean, yeah, because being that of an older soul feeling, it's right there for you to really take the care and time that an old soul would recognize for yourself. So, changing up the inner narrative to something that supports the change you seek. Well, it is about the doing. It's about the preparation. So you should be in a really good spot for that. You've got the time, the Mercury being retrograde and being your moon in that is going to allow you possibly the whole next 2 weeks to just delve into the ingredients of the recipe for the new way of doing you. It's got to bake. It's got to rise. It's got to have the right ingredients. You might have to go looking for the ingredients to put this new recipe together, the recipe of you and what you want to just keep through serve to the family, including you. I love it. That is just way too cool. All right, let's see what you get for the site. So the Lenormand card is suggesting that there's going to be something of a cleaning out. It's like when you go through a natural growth passage from your adolescence into your teens. your teens into your young adult into a more mature, grown-up self. Every time you take those next steps into creating a new you, things change. Your wardrobe change, your surroundings change, you buy better furniture, something coordinated. It's just you perfecting the growth in you. That's what's coming through. So what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, what's coming through when you're doing this clearing out, whether it is actual physical surroundings that you are feeling the need to do the upgrade, to reflect that within yourself so that you can get up and be in a space that is compatible to you, being this new version of you that's supporting how you feel about yourself, how you want to feel about yourself. So stuff has to go. And if that is physical stuff, just remember one man's trash is another man's treasure. You can leave it for other people who are moving into where you have just been. Emotionally, kind of the same thing, except the emotional stuff that might need some clearing out, the emotional narrative of what's holding you back, the tendency to be reluctant to begin, that stuff is in need of being freed, yes, in a different way, because in that way, that is you completely within the balance of the inner you. And for that, and because of this warrior card sitting here, there's a possibility that this underlying narrative that holds you back, the fear, the protectors, the feeling like you don't have what you need, that can come through as, with this warrior card, as a delusions or illusions of what is there before you. So whatever has put that narrative in your head, whether it was through conditioning or otherwise, those are things that need to be opened up. It could come through as a doubt, but because it's the 6, it's an uncalled for doubt. It's illusionary. It's not real. So, yeah, you want to be able to tell yourself that the new version of you is coming. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be supportive. You're not going to do anything crazy or rash. You're going to take your time. You're going to allow the real ingredients to arrive, be found, be earned, be given. Just beautiful, isn't it? And you'll be ready to do you. Yeah. All right, let's see what you get for the starseed. Reflection. Oh, there's so much that can be done in hindsight. See all aspects of yourself through the reflection of one who mirrors your hidden self. I'm going to read that again. See all aspects of yourself through the reflection of the one who mirrors your hidden self. Wow, that's deep. My goodness. So, on that note, it is just about that, taking that time to understand yourself, to grow into that new version, slowly being very careful and deliberate with gratitude as to what needs to be put in the compost for the nourishment of the new seeds of you. That one who undermines, bring that to the mirror. Make your lists, Virgo Moon, emotionally. That feels good, that does not feel good. That feels good, so I am going to do this because it will help it feel stronger and more concrete and more there. And let's not forget that the spade suit is the remedies and cures for what you need. You couldn't have picked a better card for you. And if it doesn't feel good, really look at it, pull the string on it, ask it some questions. Why? Where'd you come from? What happened there? What underlying belief that is uncalled for, doubt, uncalled for because it's not real. That's the stuff that you want to bring to the light and say, well, I did think that, but now I can see the holes in that theory. It doesn't hold. It just doesn't hold. So we're going to reinvent. We're going to use that because that was the belief, but we're going to grow from that. We're going to plant another seed. Right? All right. Okay, that was it. Thank you so much for being here and best of luck. Okay, Libra Moon. What is Libra Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Libra Moon best utilize the energies of Aries and the transiting planets at this time? Strength of character, confidence, ambition, courage, determination, and find an ease of shifting into a truer transformation of self to raise your vibrational aura. All right, Libra Moon, you are Venus led. So this new moon is about taking inventory and checking in with the desired workings of your relationships. What do you want? The give and take around how you are being treated and how you treat others. This is to begin the healing through accountability. There is time to weigh the pros and cons so you can make clear choices for yourself and others, or therefore for others. It's pretty interesting to really kind of take an inventory of what the relationship is doing at the moment. We all go through stages in relationships, and sometimes you just have to step up, and other times your partner does. It is really, if you can be in the moment, it is quite a lot of lessons learned because you start to understand motivations and agendas and how the love language works and all of that. So let's turn over the archetype card and see what you have for direction here. Let's see. Ooh, shapeshifter. Cool one. Light attributes. Skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness. Ability to see the potential in everything. It's such a cardinal Libra thing to say. Shadow attributes. projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. Well, isn't that what we were just talking about? Or me, which was totally me. So let's see what comes through for you for shape shifting. It is interesting because if you are a shapeshifter, wouldn't that be pretty amazing? It's something that I have tried and have had some success in. It is just imagining yourself in a moment of meditation to be something different, to show up different somewhere other than where you're sitting, and see if you did become that alternate reality. It's pretty cool. So it's that kind of thing. If you are a shapeshifter, but how would you bring that to your relationship and the give and take of it? When and how much? And what mood are you in? What's your disposition through all of this? And to be a shapeshifter, to imagine yourself as a difference in order to get a bigger perspective on things, a more diplomatic way of thinking, to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to think that way. What's inside their head? Why are they acting the way they are? What's going on in their life? That kind of thing, so that you can really feel the empathy and kindness. You can come from a whole different place when you are coming from a position of not a give and take, but a position of let's take a moment and think about this for just a little bit. Let's come to some solutions or perspectives. Let's voice and see what the priorities are within it. Because when you're constantly trying to get from something, there comes a time when it kind of gets clogged in the wheel, and you got to take that moment just to clean everything out and come at it from a different perspective. And I really think that's what this card is asking you to do. It's coming through as that you have that ability to envision, to have that visionary cardinal abilities that Libra has. It's a season changer. It's big. It is when day and night are the exact same. It's on that balance that Libra seeks. So if you can get that through your emotional moon, I know. It's like, what is your moon position? What card do you have there? And where is your moon in the chart? How do those two cards relate? It's very interesting, isn't it? Because in that can give you your perspective, how you're feeling, how you think, how you process emotional anything, ancestral baggage, or what happened a moment ago. It's all you. And how do you channel through that? It's interesting to come at it from a card's point of view. So really look at that card and the card that your moon is in. So if your moon is in Cancer, you've got moon in moon. That would be totally awesome. However, you are Libra, so yours would be in Venus. So what is your Venus card and what is your moon card? Take a look at that and see where maybe the Mars is or your Venus, and see how you would approach shape-shifting, approach that more diplomatic way of thinking around the people in your life. People, places, and things. Yeah. All right. Ooh, 8 of Spades. Meditation card. It's an 8. So this is a Rahu energy. So do check your Rahu and see how you might explore the shape-shifting. Perhaps you've never thought about the possibilities around that, to sit in a meditation, put yourself in a different body, a bird body, an animal's body, right? To experience what that's like. You can do that through meditation. And Rahu. So the black 8s, that's the Chariot energy. And it is activated around the age of 42, a few years leading up, a few years after. You really start to understand how you are being guided towards that Rahu. It is a necessary something for you to explore. It will expand you in your life. Everything will start to flow easier. It's where you are being invited, but also nudged to go, because it's part of your experience here on Earth. It's something that you signed up to do. So do check what that is. And the Chariot, oh my goodness, the Chariot is just this lovely, positive you at the reins, just mind, body, and spirit all working together simultaneously in perfect unison to do what you need to do to get it done. It is an opportunity for you to self-validate something that is needing to be in balance, and you're going to be able to do that. Something will come through, perhaps through your Rahu card, that shows you that reinventing yourself into this more of a healthy, clean way of living. And well, that's the card, way of living and taking care of you, making sure that you get enough meditation. The 8 of Spades is remedies and cures, and it's inviting you to take a moment, as the moment that you need to, again, investigate how balanced you are. And that's part of that Chariot card. You'll see the way to get it done. It's just very clear. Now, the Chariot card is the card of Cancer. So that's a cardinal sign as well. It is the longest day of the year. So you can see how there is time. There's time, there's room, there's a softer way to pursue this. Think of it as something fun to see how it works. All right? All right. Okay. Yes, that's it. The Fox. Yeah, see, this is very clever. Very clever indeed. The Fox is of 2 meanings. One, there's a fox in your midst, and that you need to be careful, that there's someone sly who pretends to be a friend, and you're unaware that they have ulterior motives, or undermining, or trying to glean something from you. And less honest than they should be. So there's that connotation. But the other connotation is that you're smart, you're savvy, you're wise, and you know how to avoid being trapped or caught or manipulated, guided somewhere you don't want to go. I love that version of the fox, because when you're being deceived, you can get yourself out of that. Another good reason to just take that inventory. It is really, what do you want in your working with your relationships? How are you being treated? How are you treating yourself? Because that will reflect on how you treat others, right? Something to put yourself in someone else's frame of mind, or just to think about how that would look to someone who is as savvy as a fox. All right. Interesting little bit here, I have to admit. This is really, and it talks about what came through for you and your moon during this time period is really about healing through accountability. So if that's the case, which bits and pieces of all of this, right? The people that you're with, yes, really challenge you to be the best version of you, to stand your ground, be grounded, have that moment, ask for the moment to think about it, to wrap your brain around all the everythings and think of a very smart way through it. I mean, when you think about it, you've got, oh my goodness, you've got the Chariot here, you've got Rahu, you've got all of this cardinal energy, this game-changing energy to do exactly this. Absolutely beautiful. All right, let's see what you get for the starseed. Release. Release anything that keeps you from your path of authenticity. That's totally a Rahu thing. Absolute Rahu there. So do check it. And check where your Rahu is in your chart in those 7 positions. And your Rahu card and the card that your birth Rahu has placed you. And see how those two work together. And it also talks about the path, so definitely your ecliptic path and how you can channel that kind of card energy to get down your path a little bit smoother. You're riding the chariot. I love it. All right. Yeah. Thank you. And best of luck. Okay, Scorpio Moon. What is Scorpio Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Scorpio Moon best utilize the energies of Aries and the transiting planets? Strength of character, confidence, ambition, courage, determination, and find an ease of shifting into a truer transformation of self to raise your vibrational aura. Okay, Scorpio Moon. I consider you traditionally Mars-led, so you'll feel the need to take action around a newfound self-respect and voicing how you want to be treated by treating yourself and others with the respect you seek. You have time to form complete sentences. so that you can take any chance of miscommunication and misinterpretation out of the equation. All right? Yeah, full sentences. All right, Scorpio, we know that this is about you understanding that you have come into a new persona about you. You're feeling different. I can feel it that you're feeling different. And along with that is a desire to have that recognized and really acted upon in a positive way from the people around you. Not an eye roll or, oh boy, here we go again. No, here she goes, here he goes. That's not the respect that you would want, even if it's behind your back and you're not quite sure, right? All right, so that's what you want to be looking at. Your confidence levels, your respectability, how you respect others, and see where that puts you. All right, let's see what you get for a card. The archetype card is the detective. All right, so the light attributes: great power of observation and intuition, desire to seek out the truth. Oh, that's perfect. Shadow attributes: voyeurism, falsifying information. Isn't that interesting? Sometimes you got to throw out a little bait. See what's going on, right? Oh my goodness, it is tempting to do that. However, what if, just saying, it's coming through as what if the observation and to settle into a grounded patience of knowing, expecting, because you oftentimes get what you expecting different behavior from someone and being a little surprised when you don't get it, and then saying, oh, I kind of expected this kind of respect. Let's talk about it. So a detective, when you think about a detective, it is a lot of times sitting, waiting, thinking, like a puzzle, like a pulling the string on everyone that's involved, seeing where that goes, and ultimately it's getting back to wants and needs, agendas. It is ulterior motives, it is manipulation, it's trying to drive you in one way or another. Everybody wants what they want, and whether they do it consciously or subconsciously, their actions are driven by their own desires. Where are those desires for the people that are around you? Where are they coming from? What's their perspective? What are their needs? Gives you a very good clue as to how to approach and when. It's always best to call it when you see it. Perhaps you're able to keep a journal or mental notes about little things that if you don't, you could forget them by the end of the day. So pay really close attention to your intuition. You know how a Scorpio moon is intuitive as they come. Deep, deep water, deep sensing of someone else's subtle pushes. Go there. You desire the truth. It's going to take a bit of quietness to find it, a bit of introspection, and allowing that to feel through it. Make your notes, double check them whenever something comes around. Someone asks you for something, someone slyly suggests something, someone puts something out there. I'm just going to leave this here, kind of thing. And you're forced to look and think about it. It's manipulation. So if they can't come at you straightforward, it's manipulation. And that's the kind of thing you are trying to figure out so that you can voice how you want to be treated by treating yourself that way and insisting upon that respect from others. There's nothing wrong with that. But do take the time to form the complete sentences. You don't want to be charging in and just blah on somebody. This is about being the adult. That's what came through, adulting. And when something like that happens, it is less than an adult action. So to curb your reaction is to stand for a moment, let there be a little bit of silence, and just concentrate on what they're saying, how they're saying it, body language. Are they looking at you in the eye, or are they busy trying to slide it on by? It's interesting how people don't want to be accountable for stepping up and asking someone for something for whatever reason. There's that bit too to be taking a look at, because oftentimes they're bouncing off you as well. All right, that was it. Ooh, 3 of Hearts. What a lovely card to get here. It kind of promises a certain kind of creativity to get there from here. Never even crossed my mind while I'm doing this for you that it could be fun. Right? This is Temperance energy. So it's like as much potential for emotional growth and fulfillment. It has a little bit to do with releasing something first. It's perfectly fertilized. However, if you want that seed to grow, that emotional cleanse, and to cleanse something is to release something. So it's like experimenting how to give yourself, Scorpio moon, that emotional upgrade by releasing what Scorpio is all about. Releasing many deaths because something becomes clear and you realize that it's no longer serving you, it's no longer supporting, it's something that has served its time, you've outgrown it, and now that limiting idea, emotionally limiting idea, needs to be released so that it can be filled with this new seed of temperance energy. Oh, it's beautiful. It's Mars energy as well. It is working it. It is being incredibly interested in experimenting with what might work. You're allowed to do that. You are. And you're allowed to be respected through that process as well. And you gotta respect someone who is working on it, especially a Scorpio moon, because Scorpios are fixed energy. It's a little harder to see it. It's harder to get there. It's harder to open it up. It's harder to be that diplomatic person that this is going to take. All right. So if you have a 3 of Hearts in your chart, beautiful. That is perfection, because you'll be able to just move into this a little bit easier through wherever that 3 of Hearts is. Okay? All right. Let's look at the Lenormand card. You've got the star. It's going to just light your way. This is bright in the sky. It brings joy. It embodies joy and happiness. It's where your dreams come true. And that's reminding me, this is the small wish fulfilled card. Make a wish. What truth do you desire that sets you down this path of really receiving the kind of respect that you want, that you crave, that you need? Not to wrap yourself in some falsity that you don't feel. This is something that is more for you, whether you're getting the respect outside yourself or not. The real gem, the real star of this is you embodying that for yourself. Okay? All right. And the respect from others will come. It's one thing you can count on is change. All right, let's see what you got for the starseed. Patience. Be patient and allow destiny to unfold at its own pace. So now that they've mentioned the destiny card, look to your ecliptic as well and see what card you have on your ecliptic. That's your path. And it does require patience, because that path is covering like an umbrella your entire chart. It guides you through the other cards. So whatever you have in your Rahu, let that ecliptic card guide you. It's where your guides want you to go. It is where you will find the next step easier, and you'll get there a whole lot faster if you understand that card. All right, I love it. That is really good, because it really feels like you are going to actually find some humor, find some joy, find what you're looking for, wish upon a star, and there's nothing absolutely more enticing than to develop detective skills. I love it. You're already very intuitive. The powers of observation. Yeah. All right. There you have it. Best of luck. And thank you. Okay, Sagittarius moon. We're going to ask, what is Sagittarius moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Sagittarius moon best utilize the energies of Aries And the transiting planets, strength of character, confidence, ambition, courage, determination, and find an ease of shifting into a truer transformation of self to raise your vibrational aura. Okay, Sagittarius moon, you're Jupiter led. So this new moon, you'll be thinking about how to spark up your creative self, to seek what lights you up. You'll begin with prioritizing what aligns with this change of direction. There's plenty of time to plan a path forward. So don't think it's got to happen in the next couple of weeks. It can just get started. Or just have the presence of mind to wait, have things come to you, let things visit, and just kind of check in and see what the desire level is, how the joy level is. And perhaps it's something that you might seek as a muse for a while to really, spark things up in a creative way. What a fun assignment for you. All right, let's see what you get for the archetype cards. The Martyr, interesting. All right, so light attributes, learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. Shadow attributes, addiction to self-pity. Okay, so what's coming through for you is clearly to learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself. Let's really think about that for a moment, because the shadow attribute, the self-pity, the harsh self-narrative, the talk that is within, how joyful, how clean, how supportive is that voice? And how could you transcend that lower vibration? Because we all do it, it's all there, always. But how do you quiet that voice and bring something more positive and joyful to mind when you're, don't know what your situation is at the time, at this time. But it's coming through that there may be angst or worry or some interference with being able to settle and transcend all of the everyday obstacles that come. There's lessons in all of those obstacles, yes, and the lesson here with this card, to seek the joy despite the negativities that happen to be here at the moment. Change is happening. In Sagittarius with Jupiter, this can be not so big a joy that it's not real, but to find that meter, that balance of keeping it in check, but at the same time allowing for that expansion in a more grounded kind of way. So transcendence right now, the transits of this is very much Mars and Saturn led. That's why we have time here. Time to adult and choose something that is going to be more long lasting. Not this everyday juggling what's up at the moment, even if it's loneliness or if it's some physical thing or some mental anxiety or something like that. It's temporary. What do you need to support yourself through that and still allow a door to open to stop and smell the roses, stop and pick the strawberry, stop and look at the view. It is feel the sun on your face, your hands in the dirt, toes in the water. Take a walk and just allow for that moment of pleasantness for yourself. Because if that's not what you have at the moment, if you're so bogged down in the day-to-day, all of the worries, you know that is just attracting more of it. So those moments that you can manage to sip your tea and be grateful and look through a picture book, try some different creativity catalysts for yourself, and just maybe do some doodles on some paper, whatever creative is for you, whether it's artistically being creative or verbally creative or adventurous creative, whatever it is, that the moments of joy that you allow yourself is doing yourself a service. Okay, that was it. Okay. Whew. All right, because we're going to turn over the spirit and nature here in 1 second, but I just want to reiterate before we do that this is the way to begin the prioritizing what's going to align with this change for you. Okay, you're seeking to light yourself up, whatever that looks like, whether that's a new attitude, a new way of doing you, a new creative muse, whatever floats your boat. What's going to align with that in a more grounded, adulting kind of way that supports you? Yeah. All right. The 8 of Clubs. So this is the big think card. You definitely have time with this one. And you'll love that the club suit, it are the leaves of the tree. And that you are downloading information from the universe, universal knowledge. It's right there for you. So it's a Rahu card, and this is the Chariot card in the major arcana. It is the big think card. It is, well, something that you touch in with your spirit guides to guide you. It's a meditation of sorts. The activation of the Rahu card at age 42. So a few years before, a few years after, if you're at that age, look to your Rahu. This is where life gets easier for you when you realize what that card is inviting you to do. When you do, it's just going to start to open up. Now, if you're before or after that time period, then reflect on what was happening at the age of 42. For those that are older, obviously. And for those that are younger, you're really wanting to just kind of check in with the moon, because if you are a Sagittarius moon, then your moon little sign is going to be in the sign of Jupiter, up in that upper 7 in your chart. So what do you have in the Jupiter position for a card, and how happy are those two cards together, the Jupiter and Moon card? So the Moon card can also be something of a tell for how you process your life, your emotional roller coaster, and knowing what the high vibes and the low vibes of those cards are help to get you out of this self-pity, is the way the card puts it. However, it is those trappings of how you undermine yourself to keep yourself from exploration. Exploration is scary. It's dangerous. It could rock the boat. It changes things. Not all of your parts like change. Uh-huh. So this 8 and the Chariot, let's look at that, because the Chariot is you handling this moment, this block of time that you have here to get yourself through this and into a more aligned way, a balanced way. The Chariot is you doing that by combining mind, body, and spirit, all working in unison. So what is it that you need to get yourself in that good place? Because that's where everything is really going to start to move for you. Your ecliptic path is the umbrella of everything. That's where everything is kind of being filtered through. But your Rahu card and your Moon card are what you really want to be looking at. Rahu is where you're going to find an easier path forward. It's where you're being invited to take a look, to experiment, to understand that that is part of what you're doing here. And when you can see how you can use it as a spice to create a better dish of life for yourself, it'll feel good. It's where you'll probably lose track of time. It's not easy because they're lessons that you learn this through, but they are incredibly revealing, rewarding, and in the right direction. All right. Oh, the lock and key. I love this because this just says that mind, body, and spirit is yours. You take that time to smell the roses, to have a cup of tea, to do some doodles. Give yourself that gift. It will open up. It will open. I love it. And it's a commitment to yourself as well. Service, right? Why not? Can't think of one good reason why not. Do it. Take care of yourself, give yourself some pleasure, and just align with a path forward that is going to help you be a much more truer you. grounded too, feeling it. All right. Starseed, stillness. Reflect on this moment with love, kindness, and compassion. Always, yes, of course, that has to be a part of this. Give yourself a big hug. You've earned it. You deserve it. Take a moment. All right. Thank you. And as always, the best of luck. Okay, Capricorn Moon. Let's ask, what is Capricorn Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Capricorn Moon best utilize the energies of Aries and the transiting planets, strength of character, confidence, ambition, courage, determination, and find an ease of shifting into a truer transformation of self to raise your vibrational aura? All right, Capricorn Moon, you are Saturn-led. So this new moon, you'll seek changes to upgrade your closest relationships for long-lasting, loving support. Your priorities will align with a new-found level of happiness that includes taking care of yourself like you take care of others. Ooh, that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So let's turn over your archetype card and see what we get. Ooh, beggar. All right, the light attributes. Confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival. Wow, really going for it. Awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. Wow, that's really going for it. The shadow attributes, dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. Ooh, so it's all about the effort. Yeah, well, it is something that how much effort do you actually put in and how much are you skipping, right? Like a stone across the water. Are you just kind of playing at it or are you really interested in some deep level of change? Because that's what we've got going on now. We've got Saturn and Mars, it's in Aries. It's giving us this grounded adulting opportunity to really transform into someone that is capable and strong, spiritually awakened, so that you can be in the moment quicker by practice. So it's the practice of a lifestyle that is asking you to take a inventory, I suppose, of how much of that you're doing. I'm a Capricorn moon, and I'm really asking myself at this moment, it's been a card practice for me. I've really delved into this, and it has opened up so many paths of exploration. It's really been quite a trip all last year doing the daily card. It's a wild road to begin because it is a practice that makes you more of a universal diplomatic creature that easier and easier to be in the moment, to fend for yourself, to be your own conductor of happiness, not looking to someone else to do it for you. All right. That is where that one needed to go. There is something more around the self-esteem, because when you are allowing someone else to dole out your happiness, when you're all up in yourself around, oh, this didn't happen, that didn't happen, I'm being jerked around, or however that looks for you, you're not taking responsibility for your own happiness. It's you alone, that's going to bring that through. Anything else is a gift. It's a good one, isn't it? Yeah. All right, let's see. Oh, I read these either way, up and down. We kind of look at them, but because it was in the reverse, the Nine of Hearts in a reverse is feeling more of a stuckness. It's more of a bitterness, or wanting this conditional love to work. It can be hard to get out of your own matrix of self. You're so invested in that game that it becomes really pretty bitter, and it can be blinding, like you're blind to the underscores of what that manipulation and puppeteering can be, both ways. Because if it's an unhealthy relationship you're looking at, unhealthy says it all. The give and take is not what it needs to be in order for you to have that long-lasting loving support. So this is about aligning priorities for a newfound level of happiness. This is how you're going to take care of yourself, like you take care of others. So as you find yourself taking care of others, there's a little evaluation that needs to happen around why you're doing it. Is there an ulterior motive? Is there some underlying something you want, and this is a condition of getting it? Or are you just doing it as a gift? And how much are you receiving through this? That gift giving, if you will. Because when this Nine of Hearts is in the upright position, this is that manifesting a joy that is so light, so lightness of being. Nines are giving people. They love to give. It fulfills them just for the beauty and fun and happiness that giving gives them. It's emotional giving of emotional gifts. And that's coming through as real gift giving. A hug, a kind word, right? Making someone their favorite dish, making yourself your favorite dish. Because this is about how you do you, doing other people returning that. So it's going to tell you a whole lot about the relationship. It's work, but that is where you need to go. All right. I don't know. Always seems so hard. But I have to say, the Nine of Hearts, I couldn't be happier with this card here. This is K2 energy as well. And it is the Fool energy. So the Fool just trips the light fandango. It just concentrates on its happiness, the Fool's happiness, and allows spirit to guide. It's also the big wish fulfilled. It's a wish card. So you can have that wish fulfilled through that unconditional charity. It's got to come through as a loving nature, as generous as you can be. And it is this successful manifesting because as you're doing it, it changes the energy within you. Your DNA actually becomes altered into a more positive, embodied you. It's beautiful, isn't it? It changes that old family drama. Yeah, any conditional love that happened as a child. This is when moments like this is where you turn those around, start to make them work for you. You get smarter around it, with it, spotting it, and how to release that kind of behavior and begin with something more positive. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's coming through as random acts of kindness will go an incredibly long way without expectations. Anonymous, random acts of kindness. I love it. All right, I'm taking it. Oh, yeah, see, you got to sweep something away. That's the birch rod right there. Out with the old and in with the new. Let's get light and airy and focused and be able to do that during this period of Saturn. Capricorn moon, your Saturn led. This is the perfect opportunity to really, really grow up a notch and adult and take care of yourself and become self-sufficient and really cleanse for real and get there from here. Let's see what we get for the Starseed card. Choice. By staying conscious in your thoughts, you guide your journey in the direction of choice. And I should say, I'm thinking with choice because everything is a choice, right? Everything is a choice. Oh, I love this reading. All right, I'm really going to take it to heart. I hope you do too. Thank you for being here, and as always, best of luck. Okay, Aquarius moon, let's ask, what is Aquarius moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Aquarius moon best utilize the energies of Aries and the transiting planets? Strength of character, confidence, ambition, courage, determination, and find an ease of shifting into a truer transformation of self to raise your vibrational aura. Well, Aquarius moon, you are Uranus led. So this new moon, you'll come up with some creative, innovational ways to advocate your place within relationships by a newfound understanding around your underlying motivations for what you need and want. There's time for kind considerations before acting. So be sure to reconsider, take your time with this. You are going to be coming up with creative thoughts and understanding that coming out of left field can be kind of fun and interesting, and it opens things up, it changes things a little bit, it puts things into new perspectives. It may be something that you're not normally interested in doing. It might not be totally who you are or how people recognize you, but that's part of the fun. So, Uranus, right? Very inventive, very much the rebel at how you're going to go about doing this, getting this creativeness, because this is you practically saying, I've changed, I'm growing, I'm becoming a new version of me. This is my transformation. And we're all going to be looking at this and accepting it in a more fun, different kind of way. All right, let's see what you get. The Fool for the archetype card. This is perfect. Because if you think of when I saw it, I thought court jester, and how you bring the truth to the king, being those people in your life, and how that this can be actually a very fun, different, innovative way of doing it. So the light attributes: fearlessly revealing emotions. Ooh, that would be a court jester. Helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy, which, if they were kind of down and out and not of that wanting to laugh at themselves or seeing the absurdity in ways of action, right? Then to bring that in a different way through you, right? To them, through you. The shadow attributes is using humor to wound rather than liberate, and denial of your emotional truth. So it starts with that truth. It starts with the truth of your emotions, and how sometimes that can be pretty absurd and silly to have an emotional reaction to something. So how do you self-deprecate through having an experience where you've possibly taken something out of context, or you don't have the full story, and getting bits and pieces of something puts it in a position of not being what it was intended to be. So we're talking about you doing you here, and how you're going to advocate for yourself. A new found position for you, something that you're ready for, more balanced. All right, let's find out. The Eight of Diamonds. What a perfect card for you to get here. This is self-validating. This is you understanding a new version of you. It's value. Diamonds are value and groundedness. It's also another Rahu card. I think I've had every single one. It's because Rahu is a very important card. It is that age of 42 leading up, a little bit after. So if you're at that age, this is really important for you to self-validate. Know you, so that you're not looking for it from an outside source. You're seeking it on the inside, really cementing how you feel, your emotional awareness, stability, groundedness. in how you're doing you. This allows you some time for that to come through. That's another thing. It's a meditation card. It is an invitation to be more of that you-ness to come through. And it comes through by taking the time to find your levels of confidence, being diplomatic, weighing the pros and cons about yourself, and being really clear about who you are. This is also a magnetic card. The diamonds are sparkly and vivacious and open and clear and funny, and bringing all of that to you presenting yourself in a different light, the newfound you. It's serendipitous too, which I love about this card because it is what you attract. You being this lighter, more grounded, more sure, more confident you just begets more of that. You attract it. It's beautiful that you get this card. All right, let's see what you get for, see the Lenormand, the house. This, like the house, like the Tower card, I see this as your stature, how grounded your foundation is. Diamond card's the foundation card of the deck. This is how you do for you, how you find your safety, your security, how you value what you have, how you value other people, yourself, everything. That's what this is about. Finances, your skills and talents, it's all worked up into how you're taking care of you. So to get the house, and for this house to say that this is where you can be in love, in play, you have this chance to win. A stately home beyond the gate bestows stability upon your fate. In love and play, your chances to win depends on how you first begin. Don't you love it? It's perfect. So you're going to begin by taking this moment to ground, to let all of this beautiful thinking ground you into you. And then you come through to present yourself in this really sweet, loving, lovely, funny way. I love it. All right, let's see what you get for the starseed. Inner worlds. Your external world is a reflection of your inner world. Well, that couldn't be any more appropriate for this reading. It's how you're doing you these days. And remember, you do have time to really take much consideration how you're going to present yourself with all of this, but this is really beautiful. And I should also say that in the major arcana, the card, the red eights, is the Hanged Man card. This is looking at life from a different point of view. Turn it upside down, sideways, give it a spin. Yeah. And then sit and think about it. You and how you're being you, and how you're different now, and how you need something different, and how you're going to ask for that. This is really pretty sweet. All right. Thank you, and best of luck. Okay, Pisces moon. We're going to ask, what is Pisces moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Pisces moon best utilize the energies of Aries and the transiting planets, strength of character, confidence, ambition, courage, determination, and find an ease of shifting into a truer transformation of self to raise your vibrational aura. Okay, Pisces moon, I consider you traditionally Jupiter led, so you'll feel the need to take a good long look at yourself and see where you want to expand and reinvent unapologetically who you are at your core. This can include people, places, things as you seek a more supportive environment. Lots of time here. Take your time and meet things with kindness as they arise. So, you're to really be thinking about how you want to do you without having to advocate for yourself, without having to just talk and talk and talk and explain and look and seek for support. And no, none of that. It is being you and just saying, you know what? I know that I used to watch television every night, but now, that's really just not me. I've been doing that television watching for you, and I'm going to go read a book. That's who I really am. Unapologetic. Yeah, well, and it could be because you've gotten yourself into something that the pretense, the inventiveness of who you wanted to be is no longer sustainable, and the real true you is coming through. I mean, that's really what this feels like. So let's see what you get for the archetype card. Yeah, slave. So, not being a slave to something you've invented to appease or get you what you thought you wanted or needed. This is about you doing this for you. No longer a slave to anything. It's more like, dancing to the beat of your own drum. That's what you're being asked to do. So, light attribute, surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. Shadow attribute, give your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. I would add to that, or what's coming through more tailored for this reading, is that to surrender your power of choice to the divine, to really allow that guidance of who you are. It's not like you got to jump in willy-nilly and suddenly reinvent yourself completely. It could be, but it can also just be a little bit here, a little bit there, until you kindly and warmly bring the real you to the relationships. It could be starting new relationships, finding new groups of people that reflect who you want to be. It is like maybe you've been in the corporate world for a very long time, and all of a sudden you've got this calling to delve into being a psychic medium. How different is that? Do you have to walk into the work with wearing purple velvet robes and a magic wand? No. You could, but you don't have to. It's kind of an inner thing rather than the shell of you. It's what's inside that needs to be true to self. So to allow spirit and your guides to help you with that transition is really where it's at here, because you want to hang on to your own authority. You don't want to give that away to somebody to do with as they will. That's not where it's at. It's you doing you unapologetically. You're getting there. You're to really take some time to investigate exactly where you are at this time. Spirit in nature is the Four of Spades. It is the timeout card. So these transits have set it up so that you have time. This is just the beginning of something bigger. This invention of you isn't going to happen over the next 2 weeks, but it is going to put you on the path of that. So to take the time during this time, your moon is in Pisces. So Jupiter energy, very nice, expansive, joyful. It's not going to be unpleasant. It's going to be quite pleasant. You're going to really enjoy having this happening at this time. It's going to work. It's going to feel good. It's going to be smooth. This time out, spade suit, finding remedies and cures for whatever is at the moment. It's mental and physical stuff. So if you've got some negativity or some naysaying going on within, because this is ultimately about you and what's going on within you, that's something to look at and something to ask your spirit guides to help you with. It's a Hierophant energy and Mercury energy. So very, very carefully your communications. This is where spirit can step in and help you with that as well. Do some writing, do some pros and cons, just check the meter on the joy meter, the happiness meter, the satisfaction, all of that to help you make your decisions about who you're becoming. You've got time, so that's the good thing. This is a very solid card too. It is this space of time to allow that peace to come in, and the PEACE, the peace within, that quietness, to be able to be there. It's found through reflection. And there's a very practical nature to this. The practicality in the physical way of preparing yourself for that messages from spirit. It's a meditation. It's a very practical, go and sit on the cushion, quiet the mind, have pen and paper ready, jot down what comes in, and you'll surprise yourself by what is present that maybe you're suppressing, right? Or things that want to come through as, I can bring joy. I love it. Okay, let's see what the Lenormand has. Yeah, the locking key. I love that. That is you doing the thing, allowing spirit to come through clearly, unlocking that door, unlocking your own heart, unlocking you to embrace your newfound you-ness. This is really pretty sweet because it's like this really soft, gentle, as Jupiter, expanding really who you are at the core, just kind of dripping out of your own soul. And it's lovely and it's beautiful and it's really, really you at your core. Your spirit within is looking to have a little bit more say in how things are going about, if you know what I mean. All right, so you can do this with kindness for yourself. Do it. Bring it with kindness and understand that you are literally unlocking the chains that bind you like a slave. Because you do hold the locking key. This is you within you. And Spirit wants to help you do that. All right? Oh, beautiful. Lovely. Let's see what you get for the starseed. Advancement. A strong energy is propelling you forward. Follow the stirrings of your heart. Do check in with that. Take the time you need. This is the beginning of a very long-lasting, solid transformation. Beautiful. Is there anything else? No, I think that's it. All right. Well, best of luck. And as always, thank you.